evening, we bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
And we give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite sports icons and athletes. I'm Boom Gonzalez, and in tonight's game plan, Coach Willy Wilson returns to give his latest wish list. What changes did we want to see from the All-NBA teams?
I miss Coach Willy. We'll go inside the game with SEA Games Wushu gold and silver medalist Agatha Wong. And we'll get volleyball courtside stories about Yui and Adamson from UAAP Season 84 correspondents Gab, Reyes, and Ozzie Llige. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game.
After the release of the 2021 to 2022 All-NBA teams and the recent developments in the playoffs, Coach Willy Wilson, Coach Willy Wilson is back to give his latest wish list for all of us NBA fans. You abandoned me, Coach, but... Well,
Not so sure.
look at that.
Coach.
Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Where did they find?
I don't know.
Where did they find these, man?
I don't know, but I'm a
If
fan
it's
of
on
our,
the internet, they'll find it.
our
my
research
goodness.
department is great. All right, boom, get us started.
Okay, so tell us about all of these changes that you want to see. First, I know you have like four. Was it four that you
Yeah,
have in
4
your
wishes,
wish
four
list?
wishes.
Okay, let's mention the first one. Positionless all NBA teams.
Yes.
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
All right,
Like the UAP, like what we did in the UAP.
exactly.
Okay.
All right, let's start off with the top 3 players in the MVP voting. Okay,
Yeah.
so you have Jokic,
Right.
Embiid, Giannis.
Yeah.
Right. Giannis, pretty much a center, but not really a center because he controls the ball so much.
Yeah.
Jokic, pretty much a point guard offensively for his team, but listed at a center. Embiid led in the MVP race, arguably for the whole entire season.
Yeah.
But makes it on the second team.
Second team, right.
Which is a travesty.
It is.
How can you have the top 2 players in the NBA not both make it on the All-NBA team? So, I just think that let's do away with the positions. Let's make it the 5 best players and then ultimately the 15 best players. And if they want to keep some semblance of the positions, go ahead and do that on the second team or maybe even on the third team.
Na double whammy to
Yeah.
see Joel Embiid, no MVP. Second team na lang siya. I'm sure his bonus was affected too because of that.
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
That's interesting though. So you don't mind if ever, let's say moving forward, all bigs.
I don't
Always.
mind. I don't mind. I mean, this is the first time in like how many years you've seen this center renaissance.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Obviously, a center hasn't led the NBA in scoring since Shaq, and Embiid did it this year. So it's always going to be different. You're going to get a variety every single season.
I want to move on now to the second, and that is you wish for a youth movement in all NBA teams. But don't we already sort of have that now?
We're seeing that, and I'm wishing that we're going to keep seeing that moving forward. As
Okay,
you see
yeah.
right now on the All-NBA first team, nobody over the age of 27. Okay, we're seeing this moving forward, wherein the young guys are starting to take over and lead their teams and garner all of these awards. I'm wishing that this trend continues. Let's give the ball to the younger guys and just let them lead this new generation of NBA talent.
Boom, right? All the older players are in the second team.
Or yung nga, no?
Diba? So that says something
Again,
there
the
too.
bonus is affected.
Yes, the bonus
exactly.
is very much so.
Okay, the third one, and I want to dig into this. Celtics to show mercy versus the Heat in Game 6. Now, what do you mean when you say this? Do you mean get rid of them right away or show them mercy, let them win one more game? What are you talking about here? I want to clarify. For
Yeah,
me,
I like
please.
this.
What happens usually in the movies to a lame horse? Usually, they kill him. So it's pretty much a mercy kill.
Okay.
The Miami Heat are limping through these conference finals.
Yes, yes, they are.
Just take them out quick.
So that's what you mean.
Kyle Lowry injured. They have injuries all over the board. You don't want to see this team go to the finals.
Right.
They're unhealthy. They're going to be playing the Warrior. I mean,
So,
come
so
on.
you're saying show mercy by showing no mercy.
Yeah, show
basically.
mercy. by mercy killing.
Yeah, like
mercy
ending
kill this
their
team.
misery.
Yes,
Taking them
mercy
out.
kill
All
this
right,
team.
okay.
Wow.
I wanted to clarify that.
I know so many Heat fans right now who might agree.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tyler Hero injured.
Injured.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, you don't want to bring that team to the finals.
And you have this other wish, which I will always say that Jordan Poole can never be a Splash brother because he's the pool. So you have all the splashing there, and that's never going to happen. But that's your wish, birth of a new Splash brother in the finals. Why Jordan Poole in particular?
Okay, so I'm predicting that the Celtics will go to the finals.
Yeah.
I went on the record and said that Jordan Poole cannot be a Splash brother, not because he is the pool, but because he needs to win a championship. I am a Laker fan. That is no secret to anybody here. The Lakers' arch rival are the Celtics. I hate the Celtics.
Okay.
Hands down.
Yeah.
So we want to see the Celtics get crushed in the finals. That would ultimately bring forth a new Splash sibling in Jordan Poole, and so that's my wish.
It's interesting that there's no Laker part of your wish list.
Hey, the Lakers are always here.
Am I touching a nerve?
The Lakers are always here.
I'm just wondering.
Hey, there's a lot of promise moving forward with the Lakers. You know, no matter what anybody says, Gab, no matter what anybody says, there's a lot of promise moving forward with the Lakers, and I believe that, and I trust in Laker management.
Okay.
You do?
I have to. I have no choice.
I was just wondering whether that would be number one on the list. Like there was something.
It is in
about
a
the
secret
Lakers.
list. There's another list I'm sure that we haven't seen. Oh my goodness. All right, Coach Willy, you know what? We love having you here. It's always great.
Welcome
and we
back.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Welcome
thank
back.
you, thank you.
Congratulations, Tint, in the SEA Games, and hopefully we see you more on the show.
Yes, thank you
tomorrow.
so much.
Thank you very much, Coach Willy. After the break, we'll go inside the game with SEA Games Wushu gold and silver medalist Agatha Wong. Stay tuned. You're still watching the game.
As we continue to celebrate the success of our Pinoy athletes in the 2021 Southeast Asian Games, our very own Bea Diaz Pabros sat down with Wushu gold and silver medalist Agatha Wong to talk about her recent victory. Let's watch this.
Agatha, first and foremost, you were able to cap two medals, one gold and one silver in the Wushu event. And this was all possible despite you only having 2 months of preparation. So tell us a little bit more about the journey this SEA Games 2022 and how different it was compared to all your other SEA Games preparations.
I think as an athlete kasi we've always been training year-round, but ever since this pandemic, it's only my first time to prepare for a competition such as SEA Games na parang high caliber siya in such a short amount of time. So there were most often times that I would definitely think na it's impossible for me to make it to SEA Games, and then parang I would still perform as what I did noong 2019. So there were definitely some doubts within myself, but thankfully I made it. Tapos I'm just happy that SEA Games is finally over for me.
Correct. You mentioned how you had a shorter preparation time this time around. And I guess apart from the physical preparation, you had to be mentally strong for you to be able to get those 2 medals. So talk us through your mindset coming into the competition and even during the competition wherein you were in the home ground of Vietnam. And I know they had a big crowd behind their participants as well.
I think actually for me, I'm more at ease knowing that I'm in a foreign country than here, which is very funny because I think most people would prefer to have like a home court, my advantage because you're here. But for me, it's more total mas kabado ako pag nasa ibang bansa, but yung pressure kasi it's more there was more pressure for me in 2019 because it was held here in the Philippines than it was held in Vietnam. So when I went to Vietnam, I was nervous but not as pressured. So I would trade that for any day kasi mas grabe yung naranasan kong pressure ng 2019.
Oh, that's interesting that I guess that was an advantage for you, as you mentioned, that you were in the home court and I guess a little bit more pressure off of you. But then in your first event, that was actually the Tai Chi Chuan or the event without that weapon, and that's where you got the silver. Coming into your next event, which is the Tai Chi Tien, which is with the sword, that was where you got your gold. Do you think there was a little bit more motivation or an extra push from you coming into your event with the weapon or with the sword to finally get that gold?
I think for me, there are, para sa akin, I think as I have done Wushu for lots of years na, I've noticed that there's either 2 options. So after you win a medal in your first event, it's either you relax, tapos parang iisipin mo, okay na tong medal na to, I'm enough with this. And then in the next event, you stumble, tapos you make a mistake, or you don't, hindi ka aabot sa top 3. Tapos there's also this one type of Wushu athlete where after ng first medal, they'll get more motivated, as what you mentioned. For me, I try not to let myself relax after the first medal win kasi I've noticed that a lot of people have done that, hindi lang sa Wushu, in other sports as well, from other countries, and the results weren't that pretty. So, it's very easy to fall back into that parang, okay na ako sa isang medal, I'm good with that, but no. Syempre, the Philippines name is at stake. So I really tried to tell myself na you can't relax right now kasi you have one last event. So yun, I just really tried to do my best every time I competed. And it's not to say naman na I didn't do my best in the first event. I guess dun sa second event ko, I just really tried to, make it more worthwhile for me.
Exactly. And we think, thank you for really not giving up and bringing that gold medal to us. You really are the epitome of, grace beauty and perfection in the event of Wushu. But you're no stranger to the SEA Games. In 2017, you bagged that gold and silver. In 2019, you brought home 2 gold medals. This time around, you brought 1 gold medal and 1 silver. But what makes this 2022 SEA Games a little bit more different, a little bit more special for you?
I think it's in terms of talagang the journey that I've gone through ever since 2022 started. So it was really unpredictable for me when I started training again, and I really didn't know talaga if I was gonna make it to SEA Games, in the same condition that I had in 2019. Kasi parang nung 2019 kasi I had a year to prepare for SEA Games kasi the Philippines hosted it in December. Whereas this year's games was hosted in May, which is the 5th month of the year. So parang given the timeline that I had, me and my teammates had the timeline ng mga 2 or 3 months. Parang sobrang imposible talaga siya in my eyes. And I never would have imagined that, I could cram all of that in time for SEA Games. So I'm just really grateful I'm grateful for the experience, but I really wouldn't repeat it again because it's so scary. Like, you don't know if you're enough. You don't know if your preparation is enough kasi 2 months lang or 3 months lang. Ganun. Yeah.
It's great, as you mentioned, despite the uncertainty, despite you mentioning that halos imposible, you made it possible. You're able to hurdle on through all the challenges and get those 2 medals for the Philippines. So again, congratulations, Agatha. But of course, we all know that you have a lot of, tournaments up in store for you. So what is next for Agatha Wong?
So even before we fly to the Philippines from Vietnam, me and my teammates were already notified by our team manager that we had another competition. But this time it's only online. So pag sinabing online wushu competitions, what we do is we record ourselves tapos we just submit the video to the host that is hosting the competition. So yung deadline ng online competition namin is June 1. So we have about a few more days to practice and prepare. But this time yung event ko, imbis na dalawa siya, I will be having 2 bare hand events, 1 sword event, and then 1 team event. So all of these events na sasalihan ko, they're more basic. Hindi siya kagaya ng SEA Games where it's, puro jumps, puro talon. This time, yung competition na to, it's more on getting back to the basics, then building up your foundation as well. So that's my next competition. And then after that, wala pa naman kaming notifications about new competitions. So we're just waiting on that. Yeah.
That was Inside the Game with our very own Beda Fabros with SEA Games gold and silver medalist Agatha Wong. When we return, Gab Reyes and Ozzie Llige join us to share some courtside stories about the hungry Lady Red Warriors and Lady Falcons. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
You're watching The Game. Alongside Ozzie, Llige, I am Gab Reyes. The UAAP Season 84 Beach Volleyball Tournament has officially kicked off today at the Sands at SM by the Bay. Let's take a look at the standings of the men's division after day 1. The Ateneo Blue Eagles and DLSU Green Spikers sit on top of the standings after winning 2 games apiece in the tournament opener.
UP and NU both nabbed 1 win each to take the 3rd and 4th spot, while FEU, UST, and Adamson look to secure their first victory as games resume tomorrow. The UAAP Beach Volleyball game days will take place every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with the elimination round ending next week. That's June 3. So, UAAP fans, feel free to catch the beach volleyball action and support your favorite teams at the Sands at SM by the Bay.
And tonight, we shift back to indoor, the Dara Flex, for some courtside stories on the Adamson Lady Falcons and the UE Lady Red Warriors with Gab and Ozzie, who are meeting tomorrow. Am I not?
Yes.
Right? They
Yes,
are
that's
meeting
correct.
each
First
other
game.
tomorrow. First game at 10 a.m. All right, let's talk about the UE Lady Warriors still looking for that elusive first win, led by somebody who's in the top 10 of scoring, Lana. Tell us about her, please.
Yeah, so I'm gonna talk about her inspiration.
You go, yeah.
And with her family. She draws inspiration from her late lolo, who passed away in 2014. And funnily enough, his last request, or one of his last requests, was for her to pursue volleyball and pursue being an athlete.
Really?
And interestingly enough, his request was for her to pursue volleyball in the University of the East, where she is now.
Grabe, and it feels great hearing stories like that, syempre, because the
obviously.
family connection, it's hard not to draw inspiration from. Pero when you look on the court, did she have any other inspirations that she looked up to growing up as a volleyball player?
Yes, in the volleyball side, it's Alyssa Valdez. Who else? So,
Yeah.
Who's that? Who is Elisa?
actually, Alyssa is the very reason why she wears number 2. Ja's sister actually told her wear number 2 because of Alyssa. Ja loves her humble attitude, Alyssa's humble attitude, and Alyssa knows Alyssa, despite being as great as she is,
And as popular as
popular as she is, it doesn't get into her head.
Right?
Yes.
And that's
yes.
exactly what Ja wants to input into her own game.
Alright.
She's never satisfied with her game. She's always hungry to learn more and to keep growing, and that's why she's great.
The humility is there, and I think boom, we have to move on now to Adamson. Ozzie, Adamson, they have one of the top leagues middle blocker, and tell us a bit more about her, and of course, syempre, what should we know about her start dito sa San Marcelino?
Well, before she was the Great Wall of San Marcelino, as I like to call her, she was being recruited by Ateneo, UP, and UE. But because of the Bisaya environment Adamson had, it was such an easy choice and transition for her since she's from Cebu.
Of course, that's Lorene Torin.
Yeah,
Oo.
that's a regional decision. As
True.
we hear a lot with basketball, volleyball players, sometimes they choose the schools depending on who they're playing with kasi, there is that dialect connection, the regional connection. All right, when it comes to Lorene, Ozzie, she's got a few relatives in the volleyball world in the UAP. Tell us about that volleyball blood pumping through her veins.
She's currently teammates with her cousin,
Correct.
si Kyle Tagisip,
Okay, right.
and NU Sheena Turing. So they're not just tall, but they're all also middle blockers. So that's all their common denominator.
And very good. middle
Very
block.
good.
And it runs in the blood. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
this is one example wherein the blood actually has a lot of great athletic ability in it. Moving back to UE, Gab, si Dara Nieva, you found out a bit of an interesting background on her, especially with her a bit unconventional start to the sport.
Journey, yeah. Well, in sports, a lot of the athletes have the privilege to have proper training from when they're kids all the way to their college careers and all the way to their professional careers. But for Dara, she just learned in the streets. She would. I imagine her just grabbing a volleyball and just playing, playing with her friends. And she never really got professional training. Long story short, and she would actually be tapped to play sa mga liga ng barangay niya.
Yeah.
So that's where she started playing, and then thankfully she's in UE now with a great UE program for volleyball.
Right. A lot of us actually start in the streets, whether it's basketball, volleyball,
Yeah.
but not a lot of them end up in the UAP. So that's obviously a great story. And a lot of them are also not just pure volleyball players,
Correct.
correct? Right. With her, what's her story? What's the other stuff?
In the side, she loves to play badminton or table tennis. But for her, ayaw niya ipasabay. Gusto niya, kung maglalaro siya ng table tennis, hindi niya ipagsasabay sa volleyball. Kasi daw, quoting her, kailangan sa table tennis mahina ang pulso. Sa
Muscle
volleyball
memory.
naman,
Okay, yeah.
sa volleyball naman, malakas dapat ang spike niya. So, she can't have it simultaneous.
She can have it both. I'm actually curious if she also learned table tennis from the streets. Oo, pero I don't think so. Ozzie, ba't ka natatawa? Anyway, but Ozzie, let's go back to Adamson. Trisha Genesis, we have to talk about, well, she's a Spitfire striker of Adamson, and she has a technical pre-game routine. I don't know if technical is the right word for it. Can you explain to us?
She loves watching Chachuan of Thailand. She's also part of the national team. So, Chachuan.
Yeah.
And she even got the chance to go up against her in Thailand in the Princess Cup U19.
Okay.
Chachuan Moskri.
Yeah.
One of those great Thai national players, I'm sure, during that initial Thai Bundit connection when they were brought to Thailand was the time that they got to play against her. What is it that we don't know about her, though? We see her fierceness on the court. We know she's a PVL MVP. She's very capable, but what do we don't know about Trisha Genesis?
Well, when she's not on the volleyball court, she loves live streaming for the fans to enjoy, just to get to know her better. And even her teammates told me that she's one of the funniest members in the team.
You know, I think you have to be one of the funniest people to be able to live stream constantly.
Or also, remember when there was that one time on the court, she goes flat on her body and then she
goes like this.
She pose. These, we were talking about this, I think it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
All of these volleyball players are so camera ready.
Yes.
They know the monitors are on them, the cameras are on them, they know how to act, they know how to,
They know how to act, they know what poses to do, they know the look required. It's perfect. And,
just like them.
Look at these two.
Twinning.
Exactly. Yes.
Twinning.
I'm pretty sure this was his plan. No. Okay, I know you're close, but all right. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. You're doing great work, and we can't wait to hear from both of you very, very soon.
And good luck tomorrow to both UE and Adamson. Thank you for joining us. I'm Boom Gonzalez.
Catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Paulo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.